Later this year, as part of the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet 151 set, we are getting Alakazam EX. And this has to be one of the coolest Pokemon cards we've ever seen, because for the first time ever, Alakazam EX can attack from the bench. And no, I'm not talking about stuff like Inteleon Quick Shooting that uses an ability to drop damage counters. No, Alakazam is actually fighting from the bench. What does that mean for the entirety of the Pokemon trading card game? And how do you even make a deck like that work? I'm Jet from inthirdperson.com. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about Alakazam EX and some early lists out of Japan. Alakazam is a stage 2 Pokemon with 310 HP, 1 retreat, and it is weak to dark. And it's got 2 moves. 1, Mind Jack for 2 colorless energy, does 90 damage, and this attack does 30 more damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So this is actually not a bad attack in and of itself. 150 plus 90, 240. If you're using this to attack the active, is actually really strong and really efficient. I like that a lot. However, what makes this card tantalizing is dimensional manipulation for 2 psychic energy, does 120 damage, but this Pokemon can use this attack even from the bench. And this could, I mean, it gets the mind juices flowing of like, how can I build a deck around an attacker that's attacking from the bench? And thankfully, these cards are out in Japan right now, and we have some early lists. Shout outs to Pokeka Book on Twitter. Make sure to follow them, and we're gonna go and review them today. And just as a heads up, if you're wondering why the images are in Japanese, these are Japanese lists from Japan. Not all of these cards have English translations. However, I will put deck lists in the description of this video. So let's get rolling. For this list, we've got a 4-1-3 line of Alakazam. We've got the Abra, the Kadabra, 4 Abra, 1 Kadabra, 3 Alakazam, and we're going to be using rare candies to get our Alakazam set up, and they're going to be our primary attacker. Again, Alakazam can hit really strong if it's in the active, but we really want to use this attack from the bench because we can set up some really cool awkward plays for our opponent to deal with. And then also helping us out, if Alakazam is on the bench, we want one of these 4 Pokemon in the active instead, including the Mimikyu from Paldea Evolved with the Safeguard ability, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX and Pokemon V. There are still certain decks in the meta that don't have any single prize attackers that will just lose when Mimikyu is on the board. So this is a really cool card to have. At the very least, it can buy you a turn or 2 for your opponent to try and set up something that can attack through Mimikyu. So great wall here. We also have Klefki with the Mischievous Lock. When this Pokemon is in the active, basic Pokemon in play have no abilities. So Genesect V gets turned off, as long as they don't have Fusion Strike energy on it. Lost Box gets turned off. Lumineon gets turned off. A lot of Pokemon with abilities get shut off here with Mischievous Lock in play. And in case that doesn't work, we've also got the Snorlax from Pokemon Go with the block ability. As long as this Pokemon's in the active spot, your opponent's active Pokemon cannot retreat. So your goal is to try and trap a Pokemon that your opponent doesn't want in the active and can't easily retreat with Snorlax, and then you can bomb with Alakazam from the bench while your opponent's active is stuck. In all of these cases, you're trying to get them stuck in a situation where they can't hit you and you are just bombing from the bench. Last but not least, we've got Radiant Jirachi here with the Entrusted Wishes ability, where if this gets knocked out, you get 3 cards of your choice, put them in your hand, and shuffle your deck. That could be the rare candy, Alakazam, plus some energy. It could be a lot of things, but you sacrifice a card to get 3 cards of your choice to help you get rolling. We also have, for Pokemon, a 2-2 Bibarel line to help draw cards. As far as our trainer cards go, we've got 3 Level Ball, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Fog Crystal, which is amazing for searching out Psychic Energy or Psychic Pokemon, 4 rare candies for evolving from basics to stage 2s right away without having to deal with the middle evolution. 1 super rod to get any up to 3 Pokemon or basic energy back into your deck from the discard pile. Really handy there. Some switching cards here, whether you're switching Alakazam into the active or more likely switching Alakazam out of the active to go into one of your blocking options. That's really nice. We do have a Vitality Band here to get a little bit of damage back. Actually, that might be the one if you're behind on prizes and you do 30 more damage. I will have it properly attributed in the description of this video. 3 copies of Professor's Research, discard your hand and draw 7. 2 copies of Boss for gusting. 1 Raihan. This is actually really good in this deck because you get to attach a basic energy from your discard pile and then grab a card from your deck, put it into your hand. Alakazam doesn't need much to get rolling, so you could presumably get everything you need to get going with just the Raihan. And then some hand disruption here with 3 Iono and also 1 Serena, which lets you either gust up a Pokemon V or discard some cards and draw up to 5. And last but not least, we've got 3 Path to the Peak. This is a deck that doesn't necessarily rely. I mean, Jirachi would be shut off by that, so make sure you don't play Jirachi at the same time as Path, but you're trying to shut off your opponent's abilities and make sure that you can just keep peppering them from the bench. And then the energy, we've got 7 Psychic Energy and 2 Double Turbos because Alakazam's attack, the first one, is colorless energy, and you can get that going with 1 attachment, which is really nice. Let's move on to the next one. This one, kind of the same basic core. We are missing the Jirachi and the Snorlax, but instead we are getting a 1/1 line of Espeon. And Espeon VMAX has the ability Solar Revelation, where you prevent all effects of attacks from your opponent's Pokemon done to all of your Pokemon that have energy attached. So you're looking to spread the board with energy and prevent yourself from getting hit by effects of attacks such as Sableye Lost Mine, such as Star Requiem from Giratina V-Star. And I think it's an interesting strategy. I don't know if I personally would go with the Espeon here in this build, especially since it's kind of tough to get energy across the board without something like a Shadow Rider or an Arceus. But interesting include here nevertheless. We still have the Mimikyu and the Klefki. Heavy Mimikyu count here at 3 and only 1 Klefki, which does kind of freak me out. I want to see at least 2 so your opponent can't escape rope the Klefki out of the way. But nevertheless, that's what they've chosen. We've got Level Balls, Ultra Ball, anything interesting here. We've got the Fog, or the Leafy Camo Poncho here, which prevents Pokemon VMAX or V-Star from being gusted from a supporter card, so you can't boss up the Espeon if the Leafy Camo Poncho is on. Choice Belts for 30 extra damage on Pokemon V. Again, I should know what this band is. You know what? I'm going to update the video right here. Just cutting in here. It's Defiance Band. This is the one when you're behind on prizes, you get to do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. I'm not exactly sure how that works if you're attacking from the bench. I guess if you're attacking from the bench and you're attacking the active, you would get the plus 30, but you wouldn't necessarily get it if you're attacking from the bench to the bench. Anyway, let's get back to the video. 2 Professor's Research, 2 Boss's Orders, 1 Cynthia's Ambition. If a Pokemon gets knocked out and you play it, you get 8 cards instead of 5, which you would normally get. We also have 2 Arven, 1 copy of Roxanne, only 1 hand disruption card here. A little interesting there. With Roxanne, if your opponent has 3 or fewer prizes, you both shuffle your hand, put it in the bottom of the deck, you draw 6 cards, they draw 2. Really powerful effect there. 2 copies of Raihan, 1 copy of Clara to get up to 2 Pokemon and up to 2 basic energy from the discard pile back into your hand. We see a copy of Artisan here for setting up our basic Pokemon without a rule box onto the bench. And then for energy, we've got 1 Double Turbo and 8 Psychic Energy. This third list looks very similar to the ones we have seen so far, with a couple of tweaks. 1, we get to see Celebrations Mew here, which allows you to look at the top 5 cards or the top 6 cards of your deck. Sorry, I misspoke there, and I probably misspoke in another video as well. The Charizard one. Top 6 cards of your deck, reveal an item card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. And this is an item-heavy build. We still have the Mimikyu, the Klefki, and the Snorlax as shields, but the new thing we have here is this fossil, which is the old Helix fossil. It's only got 60 HP, and there are 2 benefits to it. One, you can discard it at any time. Well, anytime during your turn, you can discard it. I believe these give up prizes if they get knocked out, so that does kind of suck. However, when this fossil is in play in the active, your opponent can't play stadium cards from their hand. So this is another way of forcing, kind of defending yourself, where you've got the Path to the Peak out and the Helix Stone. Your opponent, let's say they really need those abilities and Path to the Peak is shutting them off and they can't bump the stadium, then they're kind of stuck. So it's another way of getting your opponent stuck while you use Alakazam to attack from the bench. And then as far as trainer cards go, I see a Pal Pad here. It's a little different. We've got some Poke Gears to help grab one of these supporters. We've got a heavy count of hand disruption here with 4 Iono and 3 Judge, which is pretty nuts. Lots of disruption here. I like it personally. And we've got 8 Psychic Energy, no double turbos, which is, it's a choice. I don't necessarily hate it, but I do like the idea of having at least one so you can use Alakazam's first attack if possible. And then the last list here, this is actually the one I probably should have done first because this is the most vanilla. This one doesn't have the Bibarel draw engine. It's got the Mimikyu, the Klefki, and the Snorlax as our shields, as well as the Helix fossil. And then all of these trainers we have already seen. We're low count on the Ultra Ball here. Do have a lot of Fog Crystals, 3 rare candies, 2 Poke Gears, a couple of Switch cards, and a decent spread. This one also has a heavy count of hand disruption with 4 Judge instead of 4 Iono, but still 3 Iono here, 4 Path to the Peak, and 8 Psychic Energy. There we go. That is a look at the Alakazam EX deck. Some really cool options here. A really strong attack to the active and a crazy attack from the bench. 120 is... it's a decent number. You can be taking some single prize Pokemon down. I guess Manaphy is going to be a problem, and that's going to kind of suck. But hopefully you can maybe work in a Canceling Cologne or something like that in there. That could be nice. But this card is out in September internationally. Definitely some time to think about it a little more and see what you can come up with. But for now, I gotta get going. Thank you so much for watching. Before we go, some quick plugs. You can find me on all the things: YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at @InThirdPerson. You can find me on Twitch at @InThirdPerson, where I stream the Pokemon trading card game every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And check out the website inthirdperson.com for more articles and videos on video games, board games, and other nerdy pursuits. So until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.